Hey everybody, welcome to the stream of Civilization 5. So Civ 6 is out next month, and I thought I'd play a little bit of Civ 5. I saw a lot of people have been picking up Civ 5, just kind of anticipation of Civ 6, because Civ 5 goes on sale a lot. So I thought I'd make kind of a tutorial-y stream. I'm going to be basically doing the same strategy that I did in my review on this game, which was Civilization 5 The Great Divide, I believe is what I called it on YouTube, if you want to go search that up. And basically, it's why older experienced players tend to complain about Civ 5 a lot of it doesn't scale well with the difficulty. You can basically do the same strategy over and over and over and it'll work every time on everything below Deity, which is the highest difficulty. So I tested this initially on Immortal, and I've done it quite a bit on Immortal, but I'm going to do it on Emperor today, mostly because I don't want any hiccups while I show you the strategy. Same thing works almost every time on Immortal, but we'll do it on Emperor for the sake of speeding things up today. Also, normally I play on epic game pace, which makes military a little bit more viable. Today I'm going to do standard for the sake of I want to do this entire match in one sitting. Standard map size, and I have both map type and random leader. Both random map type and random leader, that is, because really, it doesn't matter what I pick. So, what are we gonna get? Come on, give me Denmark. Give me one that doesn't help me at all. Polynesia? Yeah, they don't really help me at all. That'll work. Well, you know, it depends on the map type a little bit. They might help me depending on the map type. So you'll notice my UI's... Oh, wow, I already got a good start. I like Floodplain. Not the Dutch, though. That would have been really nice. Dutch on Floodplain. Okay, so you'll notice that my user interface is a little bit different. That is, I use a mod that makes the user interface a lot cleaner and a lot more informative. It doesn't tell you anything that you wouldn't naturally know. I believe it's just called Better UI if you search it up for Civ 5. It doesn't tell you anything that you wouldn't already know. It just makes it more convenient, so it's good. Favorite Civ? I'm actually not sure. It really depends. I'm going to go over kind of the beginning steps of the strategy real quick. So first thing we do is, of course, go into our city and click on Citizen Management so we can see the individual tiles we're working. We're going to food focus. That is a strategy I recommend you all do because food is the first thing processed when you start a turn. So, or no, is it production? Yeah, production's the first one. Sorry, I got that mixed around. Production is the first thing processed. So, unless you're going to manually do your tiles, you want to do production because when you grow in a population, it'll work whatever the highest production tile is, and then you can manually switch it to something else. So we'll go production, which will use the same thing anyway. We're going to lock that tile because that's the best tile we can work right now anyway, and the AI is not the best at deciding what to do. So explore a little bit, of course, try and get our goodie huts early on. What technology you want to get right away kind of depends on your surroundings. So already we see marble and we see cocoa. We'll need mining to cut down the forest, and then we need calendar for the cocoa because it's a plantation, and we need masonry for marble. And you can see some stone over there, which we will not be able to reach because it's more than 3 tiles away. Is stream Civ 2 someday? Probably. I like Civ 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually go pottery because I want to get some early religion going on because we do a floodplain, which means we can get a very easy religion in early game. I'm going to go with the scout just because we've got the production to do it, and I'd like to get some scouting done early on. We put the Better UI mod in the description of the YouTube video. I'll try to remember to. Comment section later, we got free weapons, switched to a Polynesian spearman. Not bad. He'll keep his ability that he previously had of making nearby enemies scared of him. Ooh, right here could be a science city. It's next to a mountain, it's got lots of food, it's got a unique luxury. I just got free archery. Awesome. Yes, I might actually want my second city right there. That might be my science capital. So right now, we want 3 cities. That's all we're going to get the entire game. It's a really bullshit strategy. Okay, so we're near America. You can see Washington State over there. And our second thing we want, let's start putting some turns into... No, we're going to get our free monument. That's right. So we're going to start putting turns into a worker until we have pottery finished. And then we'll switch away from it and switch back. So if I have one city there, we see tundra up there. So our next city is probably going to be around here somewhere. So we're going to start to circle back a little bit and see what's in the area to pick up. We got a free population in Honolulu. So I just going to put that straight on food. And yeah, we don't really need to scout up north too much. Kind of just want to get, hey, Austria. Okay. Austria is a pain in the ass because they can buy out city-states that they're aligned with, and I'm probably going to go diplomatic victory. Oh, we found natural wonder. Cocoa. Yeah, I don't think we need to be concerned about that. So, happiness is good right now. I'd like kind of an early second city just because I'm worried America is going to start to snatch up this area. Won't this strategy ruin the game, though? I don't know what you mean by ruin the game exactly. I mean, if you mean make it less fun, kind of, but it's kind of the game's fault. I mean, why handicap yourself when this is the strategy that works? By the way, nice rosé wine. You know that Fatima, my fiance, is a really good barista at Starbucks. When she switches stores to go work where we live now in Mississauga, and one of her customers from Burlington drove all the way to Mississauga, came into the store and gave her 2 bottles of wine for free to thank her for all the good drinks over the years. That's how you know you're a good barista. Holy shit, free wine. Not bad. Right, so next technology, we finished our pottery, so we're actually going to switch on over to an early shrine and switch it so the workers after, but we put those turns of production into the worker. It'll remember that for later, so we'll save time on it later. Normally a worker is like really good to get out immediately, but with this start, with the desert and everything, we can get a super early religion. So I'm going to try and gun for that. Hopefully Ethiopia or the Celts aren't in the game, because they're pretty much guaranteed to get the first Pantheon. If they steal desert folklore out from under our feet, then that sets us back a little bit. So, top priority right now, we already have archery and pottery. Archery we got for free from a goodie hut. I think my top priority right now is to get mining, probably. Yeah, we have nothing to mine immediately, but we could start chopping trees, so we're going to take mining, we're going to follow that up with calendar, and then with masonry. And that'll get us our luxury goods to start settling more cities early on, because I don't want to go into unhappiness. Make it unhappy, but I do have a point. Yeah, I talked about that a little bit, actually, in my review on it, my Civilization 5, The Great Divide, over on YouTube. And I got kind of complicated thoughts on that. So this is a mercantile city-state, which to most people is very valuable. Ashurbanipal of Assyria. So he's pretty aggressive if he's close. Actually, I'm happy we have him, because he is going to be our best friend. We're going to convince him to declare war on people constantly. So we actually got a free 1 production out of that, because despite how we clearly want to work the food here, when it processed that turn and we went up a population, it didn't process the food yet, but it did process the production because of how that works. So we actually got a free turn of free 1 production just by having production focus on. So if you want to micromanage it, you can get some extra production out of that. It's just a weird little tick of how Civilization 5 works and processes turns. We can see another city-state down there. We want to meet them next. You really want to meet all the city-states as early as you can to get that free... yes, I'll take the money. To get the free money out of it. Like that. Milan. Milan's a pretty good one. They are cultural. The only one I'm not really interested in is faith. Actually, I'm not that interested in military for this playthrough either. What I really want is maritime ones. They gift you food, and population growth is what I'm all about. Okay, so we have buffalo down there. We've got fresh water. We don't have... you know what? I'm iffy on if I want to make another city here. I could make another city right here, and I would get a lot of... no, I'd need to put it right here, because I can then get the buffalo eventually. I'm thinking city here, here, and here is what I'm thinking so far. It's not the best spots in the world, but honestly, I don't need the best spots in the world. And I don't think I'm really going to expand out from that. 62 viewers already. Not bad. Apparently everyone wants to see me play Civ 5. If you guys want me to, I'll stream it more often. I do play it quite a bit. I'm a lot better at Civ 5 than I am Civ 4. I think Civ 4 is, in general, a little bit better of a game. But I'm definitely a lot better at Civ 5 because it, you know, when you know a certain list of tricks, it becomes a lot easier. You want to play as Venice all of a sudden? Venice is a very fun one. Prelux says, isn't making a lot of cities a bad thing? Yes and no. It depends on what stage of the game you're at, really. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to make a city here later. So we're just going to have him there and on alert. And he's just going to be there on the lookout for barbarians. We're probably going to get a barbarian camp up here at some point, and that's going to be a pain in the ass. It's just a likely thing to happen. So you can see we are generating faith, by the way, because we did finish our shrine. Pantheon founded. Fucker. Austria beat us to desert folklore. Okay. I really wanted that. We could get a strong religion game early on, so let's shift gears a little bit. We're not going to get our strong religion game. We're probably not going to have a dominant religion at all, in fact. We do have that early faith going, which is not... It's still not bad to get a Pantheon early on. It's a little bonus. It's never quite a bad thing. So I would like to keep scouting, but at the same time, I kind of want to just go barbarian busting. I don't like having two cities this close together when it comes to my strategy, because I'm going to have very high population cities. But with how many specialists we can work, I'm not overly concerned. We're going to run a lot of internal trade rates. If we're going diplomacy, we're going to do a lot of external trade rates. If we're going to do... and if we're going to do science, we're going to do a lot of internal trade rates. What I go for kind of depends. Okay, so your first ideology, or rather your first social policy here, you're pretty much always going to go tradition. Tradition is by far the strongest. Even if you're expanding wildly, tradition is the strongest. It didn't get nerfed nearly enough on the final patch. We're going tradition. Tradition is for a small focused country. The initial signing bonus that I just got is 3 extra culture per turn out of my capital, which is very powerful. So we're going to get our worker in one turn. He's going to chop down the forest around the cocoa and then make a plantation on it, get us some happiness. We'll also get some quick production out of it. Next, we're going to get, I think I'm going to go with a granary, even though I really want another settler early. You know what? Let's snatch up another settler, because I am actually concerned about the opponents. So what we're going to do is we're going to start putting turns into a granary until we get some more population. And this will throw 20 production at whatever we're currently working on as soon as it finishes cutting. So we're going to put that into the settler. That way... Here we go. And yeah, we're fine putting that into extra production. That way, the production is going to speed up the settler, and when you're making a settler, your city's not growing. So we're going to minimize the amount of time that our city isn't growing. There we go. So we now have a very high food yield tile, at least for our area. We're going to start putting a plantation on that now. Actually, you know what? I don't need the happiness quite yet. I'm actually going to go make a farm first. So we have our first Pantheon here. We're going to take fertility rates, which is growth rate, because over the course of the game, this is going to get us a lot of extra population. Sorry if I'm not reading the chat a whole lot today, just because I'm going to be really focused for at least the beginning of the stream on explaining my strategy and my thought process. But I'm going to try and catch up. So is he playing as Greece or Italy or something like that? Now, as you can see, I'm Honolulu, so I picked random country, and I was given Polynesia. What I have here, my whole Polynesian group here, they don't really help me at all for this victory type. I could go across the ocean. That's the only real advantage I have right now. I'm not going culture, so... I mean, Moai statues are kind of nice, but I'm going sheer population. We're going straight to oligarchy. Garrisoned units cost no maintenance, and city garrison gains 50% range combat strength. That really doesn't help us at all right now, but it's required to get to better things, so we're going to take it. Hey, Sophia. And just like I predicted earlier, we got a barbarian encampment up there. That does mean that these guys actually want me to take out the barbarians nearby, and they'll like me for it, so I'm going to pledge to protect them and make some early friends with them. And we got some more land right there. Not overly interested. We're going to have masonry soon, which will get us the ability to get that marvel, which is going to be great soon, but not immediately. And we're actually going to start moving our troops north to take care of this barbarian encampment. And we're going to get out of position a little bit, but really it's not a concern. So the obvious next thing is writing, because I don't want to fall behind on my science. We want to get a library, especially because library gives you science based on your population in your cities, and we have high population cities, so of course that pays off quite a bit. Thank you for following, Hamish. I think I pronounced that right. If I got it wrong, give me the phonetical in the chat so I can get your name right. Oh, we actually have some barbarians down there. Well, it's a good thing we actually moved our guys then, because we can ward this off. So we actually have pretty good troops early on in the spearmen and the archers for this age, considering we're only 38 turns into a standard pace game. That's because we found 2 goody huts. Each one had improved weapons in it. So this used to be a scout. This used to be a warrior. Or rather, a Morai warrior, I believe it is, for the Polynesians. So he does have an aura of weakening that he has, which is very nice. Stop streaming every culture night. Yeah, I'm sorry. All right, so we have that extra high food yield tile now, which is pretty valuable to us. Let me just look at this real quick. 4 turns on a settler. I can shave that down to 3 by switching over. I should have done that earlier. That's the thing you should always do when you're making a settler, is really try and min-max. Great Library has been built. I didn't even attempt it, because on this difficulty, every AI guns for it. It's great on lower difficulties. The Great Library is an incredible wonder, but on high difficulties, there's just too much competition. You might as well just focus on a strong start. You'll notice, by the way, that the map scrolls really far sometimes when I do that, because I'm controlling it with my arrow keys. Sometimes, for whatever reason, this game, it thinks I'm still holding it when I'm not, so I just had to double tap it to fix it. I'm going to take rough terrain just because you're in rough terrain. Okay, that's a barbarian killed. He's probably just going to move in there, which is annoying. And I don't like that my settlers aren't going to be able to run straight to their spot because of that one barbarian there. I would lose that fight. So I'm going to back off into my city range. And are you on a rough terrain? Oop. Give it a second. They're on plains, so they're on open terrain. Get a head start on that. And we just got that tile. I'd like to put a farm on that for production later. Can I hear permission to challenge Mah-Dry-Bread to ritualistic combat to be decided for the one true Dylan? P.S. I have Spock versus Kirk playing the whole time. Well, I was going to say no, because you'd kill my chat liaison. However, if you got Spock versus Kirk playing, it's A-okay. Stalemate? No, I'm probably going to win this one. Yeah, I'm going to win that one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm being a little bit reckless with my settler, but honestly, I think I'm good. Which may just be hubris. There we go. So we have our plantation done. You can see our happiness is 4 higher because it's a new luxury good. Ashurbanipal is no longer giving us money, but we got 30 gold out of that, so I'm cool with it. See, here's the awkward thing. If I move here and I'm fine, what I'm going to do is use a sacrificial lamb actually to check. Okay, it's clear. Next turn we have another city. And he's very close to actually having friendship with me, and then we get happiness out of him. So the next thing I'm going to do, nothing is immediately jumping out at me is important. So I'm going to have another city here. I already have all the technologies I need to make use of that. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is animal husbandry, because I want to discover where horses are to see if I have any, and also work my way towards other technologies attached to it. Probably the wheel is going to be an early one. So we're going to jump down there, build a city, production focus, but actually manually focus it on the wheat because that's high in food, and we're going to have him there to start healing up in it. There we go. We are now allied pretty heavily. We'll be allied for a solid 15 turns before it goes down to friendship. So we have porcelain and silver being sent to us. Our happiness has skyrocketed. We have an ally here, which means they have vision. They'll protect us if any enemies get close to them. So we're actually in a pretty good position here. We're going to tell him to move down to there where we want that other city to be. And we're going to start having our worker run over to the wheat there to start getting their food production up early. I'd also like to jump on top of a granary and get that going. Hi, America. I forgot I hadn't met you officially yet. And we have luxury goods that we do not need right now, which means it's time for the other part of the strategy. Ashurbanipal, you're the biggest warmonger I know. Who do you want to kill today? Nope. Nope. Can't convince him to right now. Austria, you want to kill anyone? Nope. And America, do you want to kill anyone?
No.
Nope. Okay. Once we get some more stuff that we can trade away, we'll ask again. This is a big strategy. Convince people to go to war with each other a lot, because they'll all hate each other, but they'll all love you, because trades are secret. So they won't know that you're the one convincing everyone to go to war with each other, but each individual person will know that they have personally have good trade relations with you. This means the AI won't spam research agreements with each other, they'll spam it with you. And everyone will like you. You can have basically no military. Honolulu demands wine. I know the feeling. Yeah, this is what I'm going to ask again. Later on in the game, I find myself not using a lot of my unit moves. Is that a bad thing? If so, what can I... Yeah. If you're not using your military a whole lot in late game, that's normal. If you're not using your workers a lot in late game, then it depends on what period of the game you're in, really. You want to have a lot of workers because you want to get things up and running quickly. But... Okay, there we go. We just picked up legalism, by the way. Provides a free culture building in the first 4 cities. We're only having 3 cities. That's a free culture building in every city. That's a pretty nice one. As you can see, our culture per turn just skyrocketed from 4 a turn to 8 a turn because we just got 2 monuments for free. We're going to get our library going now. We have a granary, so Honolulu's growing even faster. And did we get any horses? We didn't. And we're not going to have any there. Okay, so that didn't help us, but we're going to get bronze work next to discover iron. Anyway, it's pretty natural to have a lot of workers with not much to do later in the game until railroads have been invented. It's just kind of a thing that happens. There you go. Manually switching around what tiles we work, because that's a big part of higher difficulties in this game. Mad Librarian says, secretly convince everyone to hate each other. So basically your strategy in this game is to be a high school girl. Pretty much. So we're going to be ending a lot of turns early here. This game's going to start to breeze by past the early point in the game, just because it is so simple past the early point if you do this strategy. Not getting money from Austria anymore. So we're going to start getting some spare cocoa now, and we're going to become everyone's best friend, because everyone's going to want our spare cocoa. And that means we can use it to leverage them to go to war with each other. So we're going to start on chopping down the woods and making a plantation. Soon we're going to want to make another settler because we are friends with a mercantile state, which means we can afford to spend that happiness earlier on. Let's hit F9 here and check our demographics. How are we doing so far? So we're pretty middle of the road, like middle-low. The thing we're highest in is land, oddly enough. But we're pretty low. This is out of 8 people. We're the lowest for manufactured goods, which is production. And our population is surprisingly low compared to everyone else. This won't be a problem for long. Mark my word. So, there's nothing in the waters we immediately need. There might be more stuff out there soon that we haven't seen yet, but we'll have to check that later. We have iron over here, and iron over here. We'll be grabbing both of those at some point, which is pretty nice for production. We can actually move that over. Will that get us? That'll really shave some time off. Okay. We need more workers is actually a high priority for us. And I'm thinking an early philosophy wouldn't hurt. We're not going to get the National College as early as I would like. Actually, I could hold off my 3rd city for a little bit. You know what? I don't think I have competition for the 3rd city. We're going to get our National College. I like to have my National College before turn 100. That's my goal. I'm going to go library after that, because you need a library in every city to have a National College, so we're going to just queue that up ahead of time. Go, and we want to switch over to food. So we're actually going to spend a little bit of money here and get that wonderful sheep tile. It's production and it's food. So that's really going to pay off in Samoa. And Samoa's almost got its granary, which will really speed up its growth. We also just picked up the silk, which we can upgrade later so that we're actually working it. But it's still an okay tile compared to most default tiles. Might not be using it, though. Can you play Knights of Honor again? This time start as Antioch in Africa. That might be fun. I haven't played as an African country in a long time in that game. I wouldn't mind. Schrodinger's gender doesn't like beer. I can understand why you wouldn't like beer, but personally I like it. My favorite alcoholic drink, though, is wine. I'm a wine person in general. I like hard liquor. Beer is okay every once in a while. And wine is absolutely delicious. Okay, so we're no longer... aligned with them, but we're still friends with them. So we are still getting some happiness out of them, and we'll be friends with them for a long time. We can always pay them money, which we almost have the money to do, to be friends with them again, but I'll hold off. We have the granary in Samoa, so it's getting 2 extra food per turn naturally, and it also makes it so the wheat is worth an extra food per turn. So that's actually worth 5 now, that one tile, which is incredibly valuable. That's a very high food tile. And you can see we just finished the cocoa, so we have spare cocoa, so everyone's asking for the cocoa, and they're willing to give us money for it. So what I'm going to do is immediately just start asking them, who will you go to war with? Because I don't want the money that much right now. It's nice, but I don't need it that badly. I'd much rather have
Good day.
a war.
Go ahead.
Unfortunately, these guys are not being as aggressive as usual. As soon as we have some serious money going, they'll change their tune. So we're going to go get that sheep taken care of, get some more food, because we really want to get Smo up and running fast. So our science rate just went up a lot. We finished our library in Honolulu, which is a high population city. I'd like more food. More food. We can shave a turn off that way. And a caravan wouldn't hurt to send food Samoa's way to get the growth going even faster. There's nothing else. Actually, you know what? No, we need a worker more. So we're going to get another worker going to upgrade our land. I'd also really like the iron, mostly to sell. I actually want to sell people the iron. Samoa just got another growth. They're actually growing very fast now because that wheat. And our happiness is getting pretty low, so we're going to have to get another luxury good soon. So you know what? I'm going to let them work that production right now to speed things up. We can now get landed elite. Gets way more food and growth in the capital. This is what we've been gunning for the entire game. Monarchy does decrease the unhappiness we have based on the population of the capital and get us some money, which are both valuable. I'm going to still take landed elite. This might bite us, but I'm not overly concerned. I don't think we're going to be unhappy for too long within the next 22 turns, because that's how long it's going to take to get our next social policy. Milan desires a trader route. I wouldn't mind having a trader route with the Milan. They'd be easy to protect. Nope. But are you willing to declare war? No, and no, then we don't have anything to talk about, Austria. Honolulu grew. So I'm actually going to allow it to work. I don't really have any high production tiles for it, but I'm going to allow it to just work that forest, just because the production is going to be more useful to us at the moment, because we'd just be growing into unhappiness anyway. So I'm going to let it do its thing. Pantheon founded. Someone founded God of War, which does not impact me whatsoever. So I think I want to get that marble next, just because it's closest. I'd waste the least turns getting there. Hey, boom arrows. So, as recap for anyone coming in late, we are on King difficulty, which is difficulty 6 of 8. I usually play Immortal, which is 7. But just to show the strategy in kind of a quick stream kind of way, we're going to do it on difficulty 6. We picked random map type and random country. We ended up getting Polynesia, which doesn't help us for this strategy, but we don't really need the help. And we got what looks to be a continents map. It looks a lot like a continents map, but we don't know 100%. Because oh no, it gave us Pangea. Okay, so aggression might be a problem. Probably should have checked that earlier. No, the strategy is not to preoccupy the others with war while I build up. I build no military. It's to make everyone hate each other and love me. And you basically become, you get into an unlosable state. It's pretty crazy. It's not balanced well. Again, this is why a lot of people prefer Civ 4. It's really easy to break Civ 5 if you know what to do. So, in 3 turns, they'll both finish what they're working on, which is perfect timing, because then Honolulu will have another work route, and I can switch straight to the National College. Actually, no, I'd rather have Samoa have the National College just right, because they're next to the mountain, and they actually have better food? They won't have better food once we get civil service, which is actually a high priority for us for the sake of population growth. So we're going to get the wheel, because both of our cities are on a river, and that would be a lot of production and food. And then we're going to start gunning for civil service. That's a lot of text we just queued up. We're going to fuck around with it a little bit later, but for now, we're just going to have that there as a placeholder just for ourselves to think about. In 7 turns, we'll have that extra happiness that we need. which is good because we're about to grow into unhappiness, which will very much slow the growth of other cities. Doesn't make any sense, but whatever. So we're production focused right now while we're in the unhappiness, just so we can really make something out of it because growth is not going to happen anyway.